James, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're gonna be so late.
No, we're not. Because I've ordered an Uber M.
An Uber what?
Uber M. BMW have partnered with Uber. Costs a bit more money, but they send you an actual M car.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
So you get there super quick.
Hey!
That's awesome.
Uber for James?
I can't do it. It's against my religion.
I know, it's endemic as well. It's completely out of hand at this point.
Okay.
Neither of us is James.
We ordered a lift. You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
And that is the new Mercedes-Benz C-Class. And as nice as it may be, unfortunately, it still has two very competent German rivals, one of which is made in Mexico.
All the way from San Luis Potosi, Mexico, the new 3 Series. Life cycle impulsed for 2023, so not the massive refresh that the C-Class gets, but it still has some new goodies, and it's here today thanks to the lovely people at FAF BMW. And who can forget the Audi A4, built in Germany, and it's still an Audi A4. In North America, all 3 represent the entry point of German sport luxury sedans. They all power all 4 wheels, and as spec today, they all cost pretty much $60,000 Canadian. But which one is the right one? Let's find out. And if you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing about. So subscribe, hit the bell.
Okay, in the C-Class. Now this is all new. We have a 48-volt mild hybrid. We have a starter generator. We have more torque. It's 255 horsepower, but 295 pound-feet of torque. That makes this a punchy bastard. In fact, if I want to do a 0 to 60, and I shall do a 0 to 60, all right, not a weapon, but we've got 6:08, so just under 6.1 seconds to 60 miles an hour. That is about the manufacturer claim time, and it is slower than the other 2. But I put forward to you that the Mercedes, even though they say it's a sports sedan on the website, caters more towards luxury than the other 2. It is a Mercedes-Benz, so it should be smoother to drive than the other 2. And it's not. The brakes, for starters, are very strange. There's basically no feel until you get about a third of the way down, or halfway down, and then it just slams on them. So you spend the whole time driving this car throwing you and your passengers' heads forward. And if you can drive around it, you can get used to it, but it takes a lot of getting used to, and the moment you forget about it, you end up slamming on the brake again. So that's difficult. Also, the transmission, that 9-speed, for any aggressive driving, I've actually got on with it fine, although the paddle shifters are not that exciting to use. The problem I have is in town, especially when it's a little bit cold, the shifts can be a bit clunky, which again interferes with the smoothness of the experience. The steering is as numb as a sailor's arm on a lonely night, and if you throw it into the corners, you can really feel that almost 4,000 pound weight. All of that makes it sound like it's crap. And it's not crap, but there's some good stuff going on. The visibility is fantastic, the driving position is great. The steering wheel feels great to hand, the footprint of the car feels small, it feels tight, a bit like a CLA, and yet it's still insulated enough on the highway, and the ride is certainly no S-Class, but it's pretty good. The power it doesn't feel particularly speedy up top, but honestly, around town, you wouldn't feel much of a difference between this and the previous generation C43. That's how much 295 pound-feet of torque is. And because it's got the 4MATIC all-wheel drive, I can literally plant my foot anywhere and it puts it down flawlessly. Does the 4-cylinder sound good? No, it's a bit uninspiring. It does sound better than the last generation though. And it's not quite as piped in as that 3 Series that Thomas is in. But I'm guessing for everything else, Thomas is probably having a better time in the BMW.
Am I though? Because this 3 Series doesn't have any of the M Sport goodies. It doesn't have the adaptive dampers. It doesn't have the variable steering. It doesn't have the M Sport suspension and the bigger wheels for sharper turn-in and all that stuff. It's just a normal, basic 3 Series. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Here's a fun fact. That C-Class that James is in has a 0 to 60 time that's roughly the same as this BMW 330i from 20 years ago. Yeah. This one does 0 to 60, as just tested by us, in about 5.49 seconds, which is quicker than the C-Class. But for me, I don't really care about the speed of this that much, as long as it's reasonably quick. If you want real speed, there's an M340i. For me, a BMW 3 Series, even one that doesn't have all the sporty stuff added onto it, should still fundamentally be a good sports sedan. And you know what? This one is. The engine in this isn't actually that exciting. It makes a great noise if you're really into fake 4-cylinder speaker noises. And the transmission isn't that snappy because this doesn't have the sport transmission. The shifts are quick, but they don't snap. That's the difference. However, this does feel like a BMW chassis. Fundamentally balanced 50-50 front to back. Even though it's xDrive, when I press the throttle in the middle of a corner, the rear steps out first. It feels like it's a driver's car. At its core. It's not actually a driver's car because it still leans and lopes in the corners and it kind of does big suspension compressions over bumps. But you know what? That kind of makes me a bit nostalgic because that's what sports sedans used to be like. And importantly, it can just become a comfortable sedan. When you put it in comfort mode, steering lightens up, the shifts calm down, the suspension is good kind of all the time, so it's just soft. The seats are comfortable, visibility is good. The insulation from the road is good enough that you can have a crisp phone call on the highway. But then you get to a back road, or maybe you're in a hurry, click it over into sport mode, turn off the traction control, and you can still have a little bit of fun. That's what these should be about. And probably most importantly, since it doesn't have a big, stupid, gawping grille on the front, it just looks like a BMW.
And in order to understand what each of us was on about, we quickly had a go in each other's cars.
Okay, you were right about the brakes.
Yeah.
But they're not much different than this.
They're slightly worse.
Yeah, this does, like, when you come to a full stop, sometimes it does this, like, weird little, like, calibration, like, hard knock, like, thing. It's just stupid.
Everything's punchy with it, and it punches you sometimes.
Yeah, and the first third of the pedal doesn't do anything.
No. That sounds like a philosophy.
Yeah.
This is a better driving car.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.
Well,
anyway, yeah, no, it is. It drives better.
The transmission feels snappier. The steering's better.
The ride's not worse, but it handles better.
And you can feel the extra weight in this versus that.
Yes.
And yeah, it doesn't sacrifice the luxury. Like if you said, okay, the C-Class, that's a Mercedes though, so it's softer and plus. No, I don't think. I think this is probably just a soft.
So what we've concluded then between these two anyway is that basically, this is still a BMW and this is still a Mercedes.
Yes. Is the Audi
still an Audi? Let's go try it. All right.
All right, welcome to the quickest car of the day.
Yeah, it immediately feels quicker, doesn't it?
Well, because we've said goodbye to the matched 255 horsepower vehicles. This is 261 horsepower.
Whoa!
That is wholly faster.
Yes, it is.
So it's actually less torque. We've got 273 pound-feet of torque. So
That's what you want though. Low torque, high horsepower. It's all about revs, baby.
yeah. So the Audi A4 is the car that makes no mistakes.
And has no steering feel.
No feel, and it's light, but it's very
Yeah.
precise. And in a daily driver, which is what this is,
Yeah.
you want precise.
I'm in dynamic mode. Okay, yes. The steering is precise, the car feels precise, but this feels like car.
It is car. It is car.
It is car.
Yeah. And so what's interesting is we were discussing all of these vehicles. Oh, by the way, sorry, quickest. The reason I'm saying quickest is
Yeah.
because we did a 0 to 60 in this as well.
We did.
And it did a 5.39.
Okay, so 5.39 for this,
Yeah.
5.49 for the BMW.
and then 6.08 for the Mercedes.
The poor Mercedes.
That is actually slow.
It's not that quick, is
Actually
it?
slow,
It's really
yeah.
not. There's this nice, familiar Audi tactility to everything. Listen to the
Yeah.
click.
So on every button. By
Every
the way.
button
Everything
clicks.
feels
I
great.
love it.
The perforated leather here, the
Yep.
perforated leather. There's something about the build. Listen, I've been sold on this car. 2 years ago, I made the decision. I shopped these exact cars.
Yeah.
And then I found an S4
Right.
for the same price as an A4, and I got that, and I sold it, and it was wonderful to me.
Right.
This has sport suspension, which is one of the issues I had with my S4. It was too harsh. I don't think it's
Right.
tuned as harshly in this, but you can option adaptive suspension on this. We've never tried it, so it's speculation to say that it would be better.
The ride in this is good. The
Yeah.
ride in the BMW is softer.
Yeah, I think it might be.
It is.
And
This
then-
is jiggling just
yeah,
a
it's
little bit. Yeah.
more- I would opt for the adaptive suspension, even though I've still never tried it. But for the $1,300 or whatever it is,
You assume that it would give you a wider range.
yeah, you do. But
right?
now they come standard with sports suspension. We also, since our last video, have gained a 12-volt mild hybrid, which
Oh, in this?
yeah,
Does it do the start-stop thing?
no, all it does is help efficiency.
I'm come and do a stop.
It might not do it in dynamic.
Oh,
probably
yes.
won't.
Okay.
Yeah, to comfort.
Comfort. Now we're... All right, I'm gonna come to a stop. Ready? Round 2. Did nothing.
Oh, you're in manual mode.
Oh, I'm in manual. Okay, round 3. Okay, nothing happened. All
Okay.
right, off we go. That was a great experiment. Manual mode again. Give me dynamic back. How do I get there?
But I don't think this car is meant to be driven in manual and dynamic.
No, it isn't. This car is very inert in all aspects. It's like this is an accountant.
It's a little bit of an accountant.
This is an
It
accountant.
turns up on time, it's
Yep.
there.
Yep.
So we were having this discussion as a team, right? Throttle House is a team of 5 enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And 4 of us, I won't say who, all said that of the 3 vehicles today, we'd rather drive home in the Audi. And Thomas said the BMW.
And you want to know why? This is
Why?
it right here, okay? Being a sports sedan, a German sports sedan, I should be able to rip around this corner right here and have it be fun. And it isn't. That's the problem.
No.
That's the problem. The BMW around these corners feels like a little. It feels like there's sports car in it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I
Like it's got
totally-
stuck up its bottom. It's
Yes.
got a sports car.
Dynamically, the BMW is the superior vehicle here.
Yep.
They're not that far apart.
No.
And
they're
the
not.
C-Class, all my complaints about the C-Class, as valid as they are, you can absolutely get on with it. If you're sold on the interior and the looks and the idea of a Mercedes badge,
Yep.
then you haven't got this far in the video anyway. But totally that car works. But yeah, I mean this car, the power's there. Yeah, Quattro.
I would say the
this-
shifts are good.
Yeah.
Like and okay, I'm really hard on Audi steering, and I want to bring this up. The steering is light, but it is very accurate. Like it's very, and I would say, and this is just we're splitting hairs here, but I would say that this actually has a little bit more feedback than the BMW steering.
Oh, interesting.
And I just felt that in that corner here, and I feel like I'm going to feel it here. When you feel that kind of understeer build, that it's going to happen. That understeer, it's going to be there, and you're going to know through the steering at least.
But as a daily commuter, which is what I got it as a contrast to the MX-5. Dynamically, look, you're hustling. You're hustling right now.
I wish you could have seen me in the BMW going down here.
Yeah.
I was wailing.
Sure,
and
it was spectacular.
Fun. Listen, all of these are great, and most people are not going to decide based on which one loses the rear the most.
No, more likely
Right.
they're going to decide what's going on outside
Yep.
and in. What a lovely autumnal day.
Autumnal.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get that if you say fall all the time.
No, there's
quite a fally day.
There's no fancy word for fall.
All right, 4 years ago, We visited these cars
Was it 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
No.
It was the 2019s, and now
Whoa.
we're standing in front of the 2023s.
I had less gray in my beard.
Yeah, and I had more hair.
Yep.
It's all on my back now. The C-Class. That's an entirely new C-Class.
That's the new one.
It doesn't look that different, and I
Yeah.
would say it doesn't even look that different from the rest of the Mercedes lineup. They are melting all of them.
Yeah, it looks like a Cycrolutus Mercedes.
I concur. Look at that.
That's the blobfish
Oh, the fish. Okay, all right.
with the
Yeah.
nose and doesn't have any bone structure, so it just kind of goes. Bleh.
Well, a lot of us kind of take pride in our ability to identify cars, right? Car
Yes.
spotting is, in of itself, a really fun thing.
It's a hobby.
I couldn't tell you from far away what this was because it kind of looks like a CLA now. It kind of looks like an E-Class. It kind of looks like a CLS.
They have homogenized the whole range.
And but for the better or worse, like, for example, the C-Class, you could identify it had a line, an aggressive line going
Yes.
all the way down here.
That's right.
That's gone.
Yeah.
So, arguably cleaner now, but... ugh. And
Okay,
then-
I mean, BMW, on the other hand, it's very easy to differentiate between the lineup because, like, some of them look like buttholes. And this one doesn't, actually.
well, so this has had a facelift,
Yeah.
but also, if you get the M Sport package, it has an even more aggressive facelift, which is what they've used for all the marketing materials. If you've seen them
and
in the
it's a
ads,
better looking one than this.
It is better looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of get the L-shaped things going
Yep.
on here.
Yep. And this particular spec, I mean, I talked about all the stuff it doesn't have, right? But it has fairly pedestrian-looking wheels, but I like them. They're really nice.
It's
right?
classic looking.
It is, yeah.
But,
it
you know,
just-
there's certain weird things like these are smooth now. Like before the facelift, it had like a little paint, like a little body cut in here.
oh, right. Yeah.
So they're all going a bit more simplified. And then you've got peak Audi A4 here.
What is
Alright.
the peak Audi A4?
This is the best spec'd Audi A4 I've ever seen. And it's got these like 5V wheels with
Yeah.
the black optics with the S-Line package.
Yeah, it looks like an Audi A4 to me.
This looks for the 60 grand though.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, this looks 60 grand.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could fool me that this was an S4.
Okay, it just looks like it's like a really exciting bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. Do you know what I mean? Like it's it's good. It's like hearty.
It's car.
It's
car.
just car, right?
It's the advanced
Right.
version of if when you were 6 you drew a car.
Yeah.
That's everything about this car.
Yep. Listen. They all are. I'm not excited about them because they're not really
But they
exciting
fit
cars.
into your life. They're appliances plus,
Plus.
right? You've not done a Jetta.
Yes.
You've not done a Civic.
Yes, you've gone up, and you know what? You get stuff. You pay and you get visuals. They look nice.
Well,
they do. Yeah.
tell me that the inside of a Civic looks like this new C-Class.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that on a dealership floor. Sold.
That's over 100%.
Stop it. This is not the creak machine that it once was.
It's still pretty creaky, but to be fair, we tested the other ones and they're also creaky. So
The plastic trim.
the plastic trims are always creaky. It's just a thing.
So,
A lot of AMG badges in here. I've
yes,
noticed.
well,
Yeah.
this we've cheated a bit today because this benefits from the sport package, which even though it's all aesthetics, but the BMW doesn't have the M Sport package. So this has AMG stuff on the outside.
Yeah.
And these seats and this steering wheel, which I think is really quite lovely.
It's a bit too chunky.
I don't find it
It's
chunky.
a bit too chunky.
This coming from a BMW M2 owner.
That is an M2. It should have a chunky little
It needs to be commensurate with the speed of the car.
Yes. As
Well,
soon as I learn what commensurate means, I will agree with you.
these
This-
paddle shifters are commensurate with the transmission that you never want to use that much.
The context is helping me understand what the word
Yeah.
means. No, this is a little bit too chunky. It doesn't fit the personality of this car because you know that the AMG C63 plugs over butts is
Yeah.
going to be exactly the same steering wheel as this, and that takes away from that.
No.
Is what it does.
Yes, but at some point, the fact that you have a trickle-down AMG part is fun for the person who owns this. Also,
Okay, fine, yeah,
you have
yeah.
the same amount of cylinders as a C63 owner. You might as well have the same steering wheel.
Steering wheel diameter.
All right, so
okay.
there are things not so great about this. There
Yeah.
are only a few though. So there's interior quality issues.
I noticed
just
that.
around.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And yeah, just the feeling of materials is obviously not S-Class quality, but then it's not an S-Class.
No, it's nice though.
Visually, it's fantastic.
Yep.
There will be people upset that this has become more screen focused. So there's no volume button, volume knob. Sorry.
Again, I think the issue that I have with this is that nowadays you walk into like an Apple store and everything's clean and white, and the latest iPad has got this thin, rim of aluminum. This looks like an iPad 1. So it like takes away from
I see.
the high-end look of it.
Because it's
right?
not ultra thin.
Because it's not ultra thin and edge, so like...
But listen, we can
build it in.
be old man yells at clouds as much as we want when we
Wait,
say
what? Can we be what?
from The Simpsons. This is old man yells at clouds. The grandpa.
Oh, the grandpa.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I do remember. Yes.
And it's so easy to get in here and just say, oh, it doesn't have a volume button. It's all screened. It's crap. The question is, do you get on with it? And I have absolutely got on with this because the things that I want close are on the steering wheel.
Okay.
This volume thing here is perfect.
This one here is not bad. You can just kind of tap it.
Yeah, you can tap these. And
Right.
then this thing is always here. So you can press next on your songs and listen to as much George Michael as you want. And then you've got the aircon here. So
I'm sorry, I just can't deal with the fact that we're commending them for making sure that the climate control is always here on the screen. You know what would also always be there?
can't say the B word.
Buttons.
Yeah.
They would always be there were they there, but they're not. They're a screen.
But the graphics are very nice. And
The graphics are fine,
we
yeah.
found that if you go to the graphical thingy,
Yeah.
then you can get
Where? Yeah. There's a. What is it? Where does it say it? We found it earlier.
displays. Here we are.
Displays.
Graphical goodies.
Goodies.
On some special days, the graphics of the MBUX have changed a little. You will be surprised.
What does that mean?
On your birthday,
It knows.
it's gonna know. Yeah, I mean, I'm picturing Christmas has.
I'm sure there's
Christmas
like some
trees.
red and green stuff going
Yeah.
on. Yeah, no, that's fun. Why not?
The other stuff I've got on with is how intuitive the things are that I need to access. So, we've got heated seats, which is right there, boom, and then we've also got how you move your seats, still in the same place on a Merc. All the buttons feel very tactile. The one thing I couldn't find was the heated steering wheel, and I thought this must have a heated steering wheel,
Yeah.
and I still don't know where it is.
Okay.
But for the first time in history,
Yeah.
it's going to start raining men. I asked Mercedes. I said, "Hey Mercedes, can you turn on my heated steering wheel?" And it worked. She was like, "Turning on steering wheel heat."
She didn't listen to you this time when you said it. Hey,
She knows-
Mercedes.
No, she knows when not to. No, I told her not to listen to you.
Hey, Mercedes.
How can I help?
Turn on James's heated steering wheel.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
Turn on the heated steering wheel.
Unfortunately, this function is unavailable at your seat.
Oh, she
No,
knows
is
where you
it-
are.
Wait, of course
Good job.
I don't want to turn on my heated steering wheel. That doesn't make any sense.
Good job, Mercedes. Don't listen to Thomas. All right, the gauge cluster. Wonderful. They've done a pretty good job with gauge clusters, actually.
Yeah, they
always.
were cool.
But
yeah.
look at this. Classic. Sport. Look at that. That's funky.
That is cool.
Right?
That is cool.
Don't need I remind you, same amount of cylinders, C63. Understated.
Is that a clock?
That's a clock.
Okay, who needs
Yeah.
revs, right? Rear seats.
Rear seats tested.
And?
I'm 5'10" on a great day.
Yep.
And Harrison's 6'6".
Right.
The BMW and the Merc both fall behind the Audi. Harrison can't fit in any of them for headroom.
Right.
And only legroom for the Audi. So the Audi's the most spacious.
Okay.
But I fit in both. I fit in all of them fine.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so we're not going to do a full interior dive on those two because they are broadly the same as the ones we reviewed before.
the Audi's barely changed. It just gets a nice big thin.
It's just a bigger screen,
on
right?
the top. Yeah.
But the BMW with the facelift, it's because it's an LCI. Is it an LCI?
LCI.
Yeah, life cycle impulse. It has iDrive 8.
Yeah. So it also has
Gets a massive iPad.
huge screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I like iDrive 8. I think it works well. Between these two, like iDrive 8 and this, there's nothing in it for me. Because it's whatever one you like better, like navigating better, it doesn't really matter.
I prefer the
honestly.
visuals of the gauge cluster in this versus the BMW. Oh, and also
Fair
because
enough.
it's the new
Yeah.
one, it gets the little nubbin,
Yeah, the
shifter.
little nipple shifter.
yeah, little nib shifter. So yeah, interior,
Yeah.
style points, Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
BMW also gets style points, and Audi's just simpler.
Audi is car.
Audi is car.
And car is good. Sometimes car is all you want or need. In this case, it comes in 3 different flavours. The Merc may lack some driving chops and some well-calibrated brakes, but with its double sunroof, its ambient lighting, its new screens, it's the snazzy one. Strip away the lights and the glamour, and the BMW, as Thomas found, still has that sprinkling of yesteryear's back-to-basics proper sports sedan. It's got some dance moves. It's jazzy. The A4 does nothing wrong. It's snappy, it does everything you ask of it, and sitting in it for a second feels like you've been sitting in it for your whole life. It's the accountant. But whether you choose snazzy, jazzy, or on-time tax returns, each of these cars have a lot in common. They're all comfortable, they all have ample cargo space, they all have relatively the same fuel economy coming from their potent 4 cylinders, they all have effective all-wheel drive systems, and they can all be outfitted with today's modern in-car tech. And yes, the Korean and Japanese options, and American options for that matter, offer more performance for the same money. But sometimes you're only in the mood for bratwurst and schnitzel, and if that's the case, there's only one country you trust to serve it. Thanks for watching.